Hi, Sue Wilson, and I have one of my favorite styles of cards to share with you today. It's a recessed aperture, okay? So we're going to be showing off the Jocelyn die here, and I've got a stack here of other dies we've used to share with you. So I've got the, from the mini shadowed sentiments, I have all the best that we'll be using. I have a floral element with the Petite forget-me-nots, and these are great because you can make some different size flowers with them. Here is the Jocelyn die from the Frames and Tags. I'm going to do a quick background with the Herringbone background. And we have framed our card with the Noble Collection double-stitched rectangles. Okay, let's move these out of the way and we can get started. Now I've gone ahead, I've cut the herringbone die. It has no outside cutting edge on it, so you can leave whatever size border you want, which is something I love, because if you want a wide border for a pretty frame around it, it's not a problem. Okay, so I'm just going to pop it onto a piece of white backing card, so it's got a white on white look. A little bit of glue in the back. There we go. Center that up. Okay, give it a good press, make sure it's straight, and we are going to put a frame around it, so it's not really going to be too much of a problem. But what I want to do is cut the aperture into the center of this. So on your Jocelyn die, you have a cutting edge that's plain, and that's the one we're going to be using. And there's also an outer sort of decorative cutting edge, and we'll get to that in a minute. So I want to center this up in the middle. Oops. Turn it the right side around. I'm going to tape it. So I'm just going to use the herringbone sort of as an eyeball between where it needs to be. So I've got two full ones there, two full ones there, and a little bit extra down here. So that's about it. Tape that down on both sides so it stays nice and straight. There we go. And give that a quick run through our platinum machine. Okay. Carefully remove our tape. There we go. You can even use this inside piece for another card if you like, because it's got quite an interesting pattern to it too. But we aren't going to be using it for the rest of this card. Oh, stay. Okay, so now to make it a recessed aperture, what we need to do is add some mounting foam so we can raise it up. So I've got a couple pieces here. Let's see, they should be right about the right size, and maybe just a little bit too long. There we go. It's always kind of an eyeball. Just see what we need here. There we go. Got a couple little bits for the top and bottom. There. And a little bit wide. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to add some of these. In fact, let's put a couple right around here. Let me just grab a couple more and just bring them in close to that, and that'll keep it from sagging, which is something I really don't like on my cards. Can't have saggy apertures. So I'm going to take the backing off of the mounting foam and get these little bits here too. Okay. I'm going to center a piece of white card on the background. That should be just about right. There we go. So now I've got a really nice little aperture. So what I want to do is put a decorative frame around that. Now, as I do on a lot of my dies, I like having just a little bit extra decorative piece around the edge, and using the two pieces. This has a cutting edge and the little decorative piece, and this is a cutting edge. So I can use these two together and I get this piece, which I think is quite pretty. And because it's larger than the aperture, it'll sit right on top of it. Okay, now we do have the herringbone there, so it's got a little bit of a, it's not completely flat, but we're going to use a little bit of glue. I think I'll just use some Cosmic. See if I can get a nice bead all the way around the edge here. And that should sit on there really, really nicely. Now I've actually doubled these up so they're a little bit thicker, which sometimes gives you some nice stability. So I've cut it twice and just glued them together. Because your cutting edges are not exactly at the same spot when you tape them, I've tried to line up just the little rectangle cutout areas. Oops, there we go. I'm going to just move that right on top of there. Just sort of wiggle it around. There we go. And like I said, because it's not completely flat, you would just want to give it a second to adhere. That's not too bad. I've made a multi-layered frame already out of the double stitch rectangles. I've used a white base, and this is our new Old Rose color. It's one of my favorites, I hate to say, but you're going to be seeing a lot of this color. And I've added mounting foam to the back. So we are going to peel the backing off, expose that other sticky side. And I'm going to just attempt to lay this down. Apologize. I'm going to try and hover around the edge here and center it up. So you just give me a second. Sometimes it's the first attempt, sometimes it's not. That's not too bad. Maybe a little bit low, but you know, you can do it at your own leisure at home. And I'm going to put this into my base. Now you'll notice I've used the Old Rose as one of my matte colors. I've also used some black in there, and that's because my sentiment is in black. I just wanted it to show up against the color, so I decided to bring that back into my matte layer. Kind of balances it out, and then we're going to put that right in the middle of the pierced area. There we go. Double check that. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and cut the Jocelyn again using that same cutting edge that I used for the Aperture, but using the decorative center. So if you get a really pretty color there out of that Old Rose. So we're going to give her a little bit of spray on the back. There we go. And I think what I will do is just add a couple little dots around the edge of the Cosmic because it will hold it down better. That should do the trick. Maybe a couple in the middle here. It'll dry perfectly clear, so if you do have a little bit that comes out, it's not a problem. And because that was the cut it came out of, I should be able to just tuck it right back down into place. And I like to use my pokey tool here to help move it around and just get it right under that edge. Sort of lift and tuck is kind of the method I use. There we go. And gently just work your way all the way around and keep it nice and centered. And then when you've got that in there, just give it a good press all the way down. There we go. So you can see how pretty that looks now. Now I think it'd be easier to put the sentiment on next, so I've gone ahead, done the All the Best, using the black as the wording and the white as the shadow, so it shows up really nicely. A little bit of mounting foam on that. And what I love about the mounting foam on it is it does give you a few seconds to kind of move it around if it's not placed exactly where you want it to, but then it'll become permanent later. This one right about here. There we go. And Best. This has got a couple little pieces on it just to work around the ups and downs of the word so it doesn't show. Let's see if we can get that one in there. Just fit that right under the tip there. That looks good. And I'd love just a little bit of a floral accent on this. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and used the Petite Forget-Me-Nots. And these flowers come in a couple different sizes, 3 sizes. And then you've got some smaller ones that can be used for flowers in their own, or you can use them for centers, and you've got some leaves, so it's really, really nice. I'm going to just pop them on with some glue dots. And we're going to do a section of 3 of the different sizes in the bottom corner, the lower left hand side here. We got this little teeny guy. It's almost as big as my glue dot. Here we go. those in. And I've got 2 in the opposite corner. I like the odd numbers. That one. So the larger one I've seated to the bottom, and then the top 2 are the 2 smaller sizes. There we go. And because it just doesn't look right without a few leaves, what we're going to do is bring in our cosmic glue, and we are just going to tuck some of the leaves right under. So I've got a little stack here. We'll just do a few on either side here. You can kind of get the idea. And it's nice, if you need to, you can take and just trim off the stem a little bit more so you can get it under a little further, if that works for you. Whoop. Let's try that one again. There we go. Down on this side. Can't get them picked up today. There we go. A little bit of glue down there. And a couple here. And this is the part you can be really, really artistic with. You can put your leaves wherever you think you need them and just give it a bit of an accent. I think that's probably going to do the trick. Just tuck them right underneath. And there you have it, a really, really pretty recessed aperture card. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. We have so many on our YouTube channel. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and we'll send you an email to notify you when new ones have been added for you to see. Also, I have a new Instagram account. It is called Sue Wilson Crafter, and I'm posting on it daily, a couple times a day, in fact. I'm bringing out some of my older cards to share as well, so you can see inspiration for other dies you might have. Hope you've enjoyed the video.